If you're law enforcement, stop and listen to me right now. If you're a police department that does not have an LPR system, Insight is offering the first 10 agencies, that means one agency apiece, gets one camera for free. You have to tell them that Two Cops, One Donut sent you. You heard me right. If you're a police agency that does not have an LPR system yet, or does have an LPR system, and you're not happy with the product you have, Insight is offering you a free camera. No strings attached, and they will install it. I have 10 to give out. Tell them Two Cops, One Donut sent you, or reach out to me, and I will get you in contact. If you're a business owner or an HOA, please stop and listen to me right now. If you're just listening to the audio, do yourself a favor and watch the YouTube version of this episode to get a visual of what I'm about to tell you. I want to tell you guys about Insight LPR. It's a license plate reader. If your agency, community, or business is looking to invest in LPR to help solve and deter crime or to make your community safer, Insight LPR has my vote of confidence. I've met with their team. They know their LPRs, guys. They're the real deal. They bring over 75 years of collective experience to building LPR cameras and the software that supports communities across the country. The other thing I really like about this team is how much they listen to law enforcement. They understand the importance of working together with law enforcement and getting their input as they build and innovate products and their service to match the needs of law enforcement. In other words, when I complain or have suggestions to make their damn camera better, they actually do it. The Insight LPR team is extremely passionate and takes pride in their product development, which makes their cameras some of the most durable cameras in the market. For the gear nerds out there, what that means is this stuff's made of military grade aluminum and is nitrogen purged, whatever that means. This design makes the cameras rugged and able to withstand harsh weather elements. Here's the big selling point for me. Their nighttime scan accuracy is higher than most of the leading competitors. In my opinion, this is what sets them apart. As we know, the majority of crimes occur at night, so it's critical to have high scan accuracy at night. Insight's cameras check the box with the nighttime plate read accuracy greater than 96%. 96%, guys. That's pretty freaking high. If your community is looking to invest in LPR technology, reach out to one of their experts today or reach out to me. Tell them Two Cops, One Donut sent you. Coming up next on Two Cops, One Donut.
I finally reached the beats I'm at now, and through answering calls on my beat, I meet Tony, who is getting called on because he's sleeping on the sides of buildings and in a tarp and stuff like that, refusing to leave, which
they never went to talk to him.
They never went to talk to him to begin with, but it's all right. He got us out there. I get it.
Yeah.
Because if the store owner tells them to leave and they do, there's no 911 call. What are you calling for? Yeah. Oh, a guy was on my property. I asked him to leave and they left. There's no offense. But if that business owner calls and says, hey, this person's refusing to leave, boom, we got an offense, criminal trespass, right?
Yeah.
And we just got to show up and ask them to leave. Well, a lot of the times that business owner never talked to that person anyways, because they know in order to get the police out there, they need to say that he's refusing to leave. And that's fine. That's totally fine. If that gets us out there to ID that person and that's what it takes, hell, I encourage some of my business owners to do that.
Yeah.
You know what? This guy's been back here 10 times. You keep telling him to leave. So for this 11th time, don't talk to him this time. Yeah. Just call us. Tell the call taker what you need to get us out there to set the call up. Because if they tell the call taker, hey, I got this homeless guy. Yeah, I know that if I go tell him to leave, he will. But I'm not going to tell him to leave because you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they set the call up. Go out there. I meet Tony. Super nice guy. He's got this little dog with him. He keeps claiming it's his service dog and all this stuff. And first time I met him, he was sleeping on the side of a pizza joint.
All right, welcome back. Two Cops, One Donut. I'm your host, Eric Levine. And back again is my BFF, my academy boyfriend, the one, the only, Joseph Spragins. Hi, Joey.
Stop it.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, not much, man. Thanks for having me back.
I had to.
Looks a little different in here now.
I know, kind of upgraded. I'm doing better, but you're out there doing real big things. That's why I had to have you back. So before we get too far, sir, you brought a present.
Yeah, my sister hooked me up with this, so I figured you'd want to partake.
I love bourbon and whiskeys all around. So we are trying Edgefield Distillery out of, where's this out of? You said
Oregon.
Oregon. All right. This is called Hog's Head Whiskey. Pure pot distilled from a malted barley. Yes.
Indubitably.
Indubitably, yes. Oh, it's the most sophisticated of bourbons. I like the Oberon Sun that it's got on there. If you're familiar with Oberon beer from Bell's, I'll show the camera here.
Is that what that is? I don't know.
There you go.
You're so educated and just know everything.
Alcoholism.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's a beer out of Michigan, so that's why I know. But yeah, the one we got water already in here. Ice cubes melted a little bit with
that'll work.
I'm just gonna keep pouring it.
Pouring it, bitch. God damn.
It's a healthy pour. Salud.
Salute.
Let me see. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Smooth. It didn't even make me cough. That's some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Some of those really get you. But, all right. So normally, guys, what we do is we'll go through, hey, this is my guest and this is, how he got its start. This is where he's from. But we've already done that with you, so we don't have to do that.
Nobody wants to hear that boring shit.
That's true. But I will talk about some personal stuff first and foremost. You've been doing the bike coaching and all that stuff for quite some time, but you said recently your hamstring's been fucking with you or what?
Well, the coaching thing I put on hold because of studying for the promotion.
The promotion, yes.
Yeah.
So,
but
are you promoting or what?
I'll be on the bubble.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
With the adjustment, I think I'm in 86.
Oh, that should be good.
We'll see.
Because
it seems to be each go around they take more and more off the list because the department's getting a little bigger and the need is growing.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I think you'll make it
if they ever come out with the final list.
Yeah.
Holy shit. We're going on 3 months now.
That's what it was for me.
Yeah.
If not a little more. Yeah. Yeah. I took the test in December.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember when I took the test, but I didn't promote until like March, April. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Something crazy. I don't remember. It was a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. They make you wait.
Yes, they do. All right. Well, the whole point of this episode today, Joey and I are going to discuss homelessness, veterans, what us as police officers are doing to try to help fix that. What are we doing maybe to hurt it? I think we do stuff that actually doesn't help as well. And we'll kind of draw from our personal experiences. Joey, for those that don't know, he's a neighborhood patrol officer. And part of his duties is basically getting with the community, being kind of a liaison between the community and the officers that actually patrol that area. So Joey's not, he doesn't go out there and just patrol the streets, although he can. That's kind of the benefit. He's got that freedom as an NPO. He can go out and shag calls if he wants. He can go make contacts with his community leaders. He can stop at stores and businesses and talk to the managers and the owners. That's one of the beauties I love of that position, especially in the area that we work, is that position just, you get to be a police officer in the best way you see fit for your area. As long as the top down isn't pushing any agendas that they have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you sum it up pretty well. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be.
In a perfect world, and everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
But
just turn your gain up a little bit.
Before I forget, do you still have the soundboard?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like a fart noise and all that good stuff?
I don't. Yeah. Yes. I never use it. No.
Put it over here.
No, absolutely not. God, we'll never get a show in.
Why?
Because. There you go. I know you like. I do need to add a fart to it. I've never done that.
Come on, man.
What's wrong with me?
You're getting too professional over here.
I am getting too professional.
I think it's been over a year since the last time I was here.
That's the last time I've used it.
Really?
Yes.
There's no excuse for that, Eric.
I've never used that soundboard ever since then. I know.
That's sad. To your audience, I'm sorry.
I just get so into the conversation.
Stay on them more.
Yeah, I get so into the conversation, I forget.
Jeez.
How dare I be emotionally invested in what people are saying?
It's not what this is all about.
That's not. It's about fart noises and ball jokes.
Damn straight.
That's fucking awesome. I forgot all about it, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, could be doing that all the time.
So, to get more into this story.
Yeah.
Yes.
How'd you get 300 million more viewers, Levine? I started using the soundboard. It writes itself.
Yeah, it's science.
Yeah.
It's boring. It's a part of my life.
Yes, science. Scotchy, scotch. While I'm thinking about it, buck knives. Buck knives. They are not a buck knife, but the company Buck hooked me up with a knife. And so I told him that I would.
This one too?
No, that's the one. That was a door prize for the bike unit at the clay shoot.
I didn't get one.
I was a better rider than you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's been my knife ever since. I love that thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, they gave me a knife. Very comfortable knife. Can't complain. So I told him I'd give him a shout out just for hooking me up. So check out Buck Knives, y'all.
I see it.
Check that. Be careful. It's sharp.
Did you get one for Buck?
I should just give that to Buck. Hey man, I found your knife.
Yeah, that's smooth.
So anyway, let's get back into, let's dive into that portion. Okay. So there's an idea what a neighborhood patrol officer is supposed to do. It's what they signed up to do. But as we all know, in any job, like there's what's on paper and then there's what's in reality. So in reality, what is the good? What's the bad? What's the ugly?
Neighborhood patrol operator is what it actually stands for, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We're super high tech.
Okay.
Yeah, tactical.
That explains the beard now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I shaved it and I got written up.
Really?
Like you're an operator, Spragins.
Yeah. Did you wear, I can't remember what they call it now. All that they wear in the desert, that like, damn, I can't remember what the name of that little blanket towel thing is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
you can use it to cover your face, cover your neck. Yeah. All that stuff. Every Navy SEAL operator that I've seen has one of those.
Kind of like a gator.
Yeah, a little bit.
Kind of. Yeah.
Speaking of, you know who I'm having on here?
Who?
The movie Act of Valor.
Yeah.
Wymie. Do you remember Wymie? Brendan Weimholt. He's coming on the show.
Why am I even here then?
Right?
You're too big time. I'm out.
We're going to we're actually going to discuss.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, holding how some military guys will get, like, this was one of my complaints to him, was like, you get guys that go on Joe Rogan and they're talking about police work and police training, and none of them have ever been a cop. But because they hold the title of Navy SEAL or Green Beret or whatever special op that they did for the military, it somehow translates directly to law enforcement. That's just not true. It can't. So he's going to come on and actually say, you're absolutely right. This is why, and here's why.
Nice.
So, yeah. So that's, I'm going to have him on. That's going to be
a good one, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
I know. But anyway.
But yeah, NPO, neighborhood patrol operator. Officer.
Officer.
Yeah. Community policing. That's what it all comes down to.
Right.
That's why you started this podcast, right?
Absolutely.
To talk about community policing, how to bridge that to the actual community and answer questions and clear the mud for a lot of the public.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea.
That's right.
And so for an NPO, it really has a lot to do with your beat, your neighborhood, your area that you work, and how much you can actually practice that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of my neighborhoods, I have a few of them, 2 separate beats. One beat is super nice neighborhood. The issues I deal with there, obviously polar opposite than my other area, right?
Right.
So no homeless in that neighborhood, stuff like that. It's far enough removed from the downtown area that it hasn't bled into that. It will.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it will. But my other area where I met Tony, the homeless veteran, it's almost all I deal with is homeless issues. And that's most NPOs. They're dealing with homeless issues. How do you deal with that? How do you solve problems that have to do with homeless that are complaint driven from your residents? Right?
And historically, in my experience, we deal with it as a Band-Aid effect. Oh, this guy's a problem in this area. Okay, so the first time, hey, dude, I'm officer such and such, and this is for the public. This is how I've always dealt with it traditionally. Hey, I'm officer such and such, man. Hey, it's the first time we've met. I got a complaint. You got a criminal trespass warning coming, or if you don't already have a criminal trespass warning here. So I'm not going to arrest you tonight, but I need you to keep it moving. Mm-hmm. And inevitably, they will. More often than not, they'll leave. And then you just wait for that call back. They'll either come back that night, come back that week. So you go back out again. Yep. And me, I'm a 3-strike guy. So I go back out, a little more stern talking to, hey, this is what's coming down the pipe. I already know you have a couple other warrants. I'm going to take you in. And I was like, and I will write, or I'll take you in for your warrants, but I'm going to write so you get another warrant. As soon as you're out, there's going to be another warrant waiting for you. So quit dicking around. Now, would I do that actually? No, but I like to say that to him. And you hope that it solves itself, because then you'll go talk to the store and you're like, well, what have they been doing? What's going on? Well, they come in here and they have a cup from that they bought last week, and they're trying to get free refills, and they're trying to do this, do that. So I try to look at the writing on the wall with that, but then the third time comes and they just go to jail. And then what happens when they go to jail? They see the judge. The judge is like, he's never going to pay this back. So they just boot him out.
The indigent defense.
Yeah, basically. And so we know that, and there's no point in adding that to the system. Now, some old school methods would be putting them on a bus, give them a bus ticket, send them to the next city over. Right. And inevitably they come back, whatever it is. Now, I'm not saying I did that, folks. I'm just saying that's the old school methods that some people used to use. Maybe they'd throw a bunch of police swag from their department on them. Here's a hat, bud, stay warm. Here's a blanket or whatever, and it says your police department all over it. And then they go to another city, and then that city sends them back. Mm-hmm. Then they got all that police department stuff on them. That's the shit that went on in the late 90s and before. So here, the problem is we just keep kicking the can down the road. We're not actually solving the problem. What's the problem? He's thirsty. He's hungry. Mm-hmm. He knows he can get, if he's got a cup. Like I try to look at it at the base layers. It's a good spot to ask for money because people are coming in and out. So you have to start looking at what the needs are. Well, he obviously needs a place to stay. Can I get him to the shelter? Does he qualify? All of these different, there's extra steps you can take as a cop to start learning what the problem is. And I think that's one of the first problems we need to face as cops, is that we need to diagnose the problem a little deeper than just trying to put a Band-Aid on it every time. But do we have time?
That's what it boils down to, and that's the great part about an NPO spot is you're kind of given that time, because that's kind of what's expected of you. Is that you're going to take that time to delve a little further into this issue or that issue to try and put out these fires in your communities before they become something else. Help reduce the call load, right?
Right.
So, the beat I had before, the one I'm assigned to now, big intersection at the highway, just riddled with beggars at the intersection, right?
Yeah.
And it's the one intersection in that area that actually has signs that says no soliciting from roadway.
Yeah. They put those signs up there for that reason.
Yeah, I know. And yet that's the intersection that has the worst crowd. So in my community meetings for that beat, it was the number one topic. Hey, Spragins, what are we going to do about all the homeless at that intersection? Like, stop paying them to be there. They're there because it's fruitful for them. Like, I remember one time, writing a ticket to one lady, she made $300 that day. Not exaggerating.
Dang, good for her.
And
I don't blame them.
And after I saw that, then the meetings after that, and I'm like, I'm telling these people, and these aren't the people that are paying them that can actually come to these meetings, right? It's their neighbors and the ones that don't come to those meetings. And they see that person flying a sign at the intersection, and they're like, oh man, that really sucks for that person. So I'm going to give them $20. I get it. So I kept trying to convince people, like, tell your neighbors, this person has money.
Yeah.
Every time we stop them and ID them, and one time this guy closer to downtown, he took out his wallet to show me his ID, and it's just stuffed with cash. It was a Costanza wallet. He could barely fold it up.
Free guitar lesson. I just watched that episode.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're back on the Seinfeld kick. Me and the wife, Netflix. It's my filler. Love it.
Anything throughout your day can come down to a Seinfeld episode.
Absolutely,
100%.
Yeah, she had man hands. You got something on your face.
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
Are we not doing that anymore? No. It's been played, Jerry. It's been played. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, so the dudes, I tell these people that they've got money. Mm-hmm. They keep coming back here because they know you're going to keep paying them.
Yeah.
And they're making more doing that than the services we're trying to give them.
Yeah.
And they have those services. Like we've got a ton of different outlets for homeless.
Yeah.
Housing, all kinds of things down there east of downtown. Yeah. Preaching to the choir. So
the choir needs to hear it. They need to hear.
The problem is the people we're dealing with as officers on the street, they've been there, done that at the shelter systems. They've either been kicked out, they've had their shit stolen too many times, and they're just done with it. So every time.
Oh, the homeless people having their stuff stolen at the shelter.
All the time. How many times have you been told when you ask for their DL or ID, oh, it was stolen? Right. Where? Well, Presbyterian Night Shelter. Oh, no shit. Same old thing. It's always the same shit. They get their wallet stolen wherever, and this always comes back to the shelter area. Right?
Yeah, and they're loaded with security guards. Officers are in the area. We have, at least in the specific place we're talking about, there's actually a police department section right there.
Yep. So they're done. They're not going back.
Yeah.
They're not going to accept your ride because you're offering them a ride wherever they want. Let's go to the shelter. You're like, nope, I'm not going to the shelter.
Yeah.
I'm good right here. All right. Well, if you're not going to take my help, then every time I see you at this intersection, I'm going to stroke you a ticket. Okay. They accept it.
Yeah.
Because they're experienced enough now that they know if I cash bond them on that ticket, which means I arrest them for that ticket and I take them, they're in and out in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's the indigent defense. The magistrate doesn't, they know they can't, they're out.
Right.
They just turn them loose.
Yeah.
And remember when I worked midnights, there was one guy that always worked the same intersection. Straight out of roll call, I'd go get him.
Ford?
Perry.
Oh, Perry. Okay.
And I'd unlock the doors and be like, what's up, Perry? What's up, Spray? Unlock the door. Hop in. Okay. He'd hop in, take him down to the jail, go.
Yeah.
And he had scabies, I think. So I'll toss him the handcuffs, throw him on. And he'd throw him on. We had a good relationship.
Yeah.
I know I'm violating a ton of officer safety shit here, but trust me, we were good.
It's discretion.
Yep. And, and I would see him back out on the street from catch bonding him in the same shift.
Oh, Jesus.
That was an eye-opener to me.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Because even though I started when I was 32 years old, I wasn't a kid. I was still, green and hopeful.
Yeah, but in the system, you haven't seen the system operate.
I haven't seen the system work. And so I'm like, okay. So starting to learn how this works.
Yeah.
And people like him, they knew.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Like he's in and out. Hell, you just gave him a roof over his head.
And what has he got to lose?
Exactly.
What do you have to lose?
And a lot of times I would do it knowing I'm doing them a favor because it's 30 degrees out or colder or it's super, super hot. Mm-hmm. And I know that even if they want to fight me on it or whatever, like, hey, man, I'm cash bonding you this time just to get you out of this.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to change anything, whatever. I'm not, whatever. Yeah. But I'll sleep better knowing that you're not dehydrated out here on this corner and because you're not going to take my help.
Yeah.
You're not going to let me give you an ambulance. They won't. Just so many of them, man, they just won't take your help.
Yeah.
As much as you want to give it.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of them are facing some sort of mental health issues.
Yeah.
That they're not getting medication for, or they're not staying regular on their medications. And it's crazy, and this is for the citizens, we'll have these frequent flyers, these guys that we deal with so often. And more often than not, I can tell right away, Perry's off his meds. Because when he's on his meds, he's a totally different person.
Yep.
And logical and understands what we're trying to do and will accept some help sometimes. But when they're off their meds, I think that's a lot of the issues when it comes to the homeless. So one of the fixes that I've always thought would be smart, but nobody seemed to do it yet. Maybe you could get this implemented where we're at. On these corners, that's such a problem. Instead of putting all these signs explaining it's illegal, give me signs that, okay, I don't want to alarm you. I'm changing the subject real quick. That mosquito, he's on your He's right under your chest.
I got
See
it.
him? You see?
I got it.
Oh, I think you got him.
Nope.
Oh,
I just hurt myself though.
damn. It's hard to hurt steel, baby. But
Where'd he go?
so my fixes where those signs are, put QR codes that go directly to the city's help.
Yeah.
Put a QR code and it says, hey, with an arrow pointing at where these guys like to stand. Instead of paying him, send money to this and use the QR code. And this guy or whoever's on these corners, that's where they can go to get that money, to get help.
Yep.
I think that would be a smart way to go.
Oh yeah.
Or I don't know. Just to get them off those corners, to stop getting people to pay. Yeah. You know, I think I think it'll be an end all be all fix. Probably not. But
it's either that or the day finally comes that you can't use cash anywhere.
Yeah.
And if that homeless person can't use cash anywhere, then the bleeding heart at the intersection that wants to give this dude money.
Right. Well, it'll just Venmo it to them.
Exactly.
I'm sure,
They're going to have to figure out a way to have their own PayPal and Venmo accounts.
Yeah. Which I've seen. Cash App is a big thing. With
You're going to have a homeless guy on the street with the card slider on his,
Square.
on his phone.
My Squarespace. just slide the card, bro.
Yeah.
We accept all major credit cards.
Yeah.
All right. So getting them fed, getting them warm and all that stuff, those are fixes that we look at in the long term. But let's look at, I consider that an intermediate part of the story. Like the fast fix is the Band-Aid effect. Hey, get them out of there. Hey, you got to go. The intermediate fix is figure out a place to get them where they can stay warm and that they can get, food and clothing. So that's the shelters. But let's look at the big picture. How do we stop it all together? Get them fucking home.
Yeah, and therein lies the issue nowadays, and especially in this past year or two, with things going through the roof like rent. I mean, your little studio apartment nowadays is close to $2,000 a month. It's insane.
Yeah.
The amount for just rent.
Right.
I mean, my wife and I were talking about the other day. If I was just fresh out of the academy now and we're looking for our new home, we wouldn't be able to afford anything. Like, it's insane. Yeah. But we're lucky, super, super lucky to already have a house we own.
Especially in the city you live in. Fancy. Yeah. Like the top 2% of
there.
Wealth lives in the city Spragins lives in.
But my property taxes are still cheaper than over there. Anyways, let's not go there. But
drinks with his pinky up, folks. So but yeah, so let's get into your story. All right, now Joey's an NPO. How long have you been an NPO, Joe?
Shit,
I think that all rhymed. Ring or any of the other quick launch home security systems. I've been having trouble with my Ring products. They don't read license plates on moving vehicles. The link doesn't connect fast enough to my phone, and I'm tired of getting notifications only to see like a glimpse of something that set it off. I was reached by a veteran-owned business called Agent Security. The owner, the staff, all veterans or former cops. They're kind of like the Chick-fil-A of customer service when it comes to security. They have a system that does everything companies like Ring do and more. They have pivoting cameras that track day or night. They can also read license plates and catch high-definition details that will lead police more effectively to catching the offender. Their mission is providing the best home security systems to their customers. All you have to do is start the conversation to protect our most valuable assets, our families. They listen to your needs and come up with perfect customized security solutions to protect what matters to you most. You can contact them by phone at 713-962-3558 or email info@agentsecurity.com or visit their website, agentsecurity.com. That's AGENTSECURITY.com. They serve the greater Houston area, North Texas, and more. Be sure to tell them that Eric Levine from Two.
They did.
How long you been at MPO, Joe?
You don't even know it.
Right?
5. I'm going to say 5 now. 4 years? 4.5.
Okay. So 4.5 years.
Well, last time I was on here, just over a year. I think I'd been on just under a year. So 3, 4, almost 5 years now.
Damn.
It's got to be.
Okay.
Shit flies by, doesn't it?
I know.
It's crazy.
So you've been doing that 5 years, and you've developed the experience to say, like, here's the problems that I've seen.
I'm doing the math in my head still. Hang on.
Okay.
Maybe it's 4.
I don't know. I think most people don't
Does it
really
matter?
care. They don't
No?
really care.
They don't?
They don't. No.
crushing my world, Eric. Everybody cares about seniority.
It's true.
Especially in the police world.
Yeah.
Freaking everything.
I know.
How long you been a cop? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that makes me a worse cop than you because I'm like, I've been a cop for 4 years. You've been a cop for 10, and I've made more arrests than you.
Yep.
Tell me how that makes you a better cop because you've been
exactly.
It's what you do with the time, folks. It's what you do with the time.
It's what you do with the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4 or 5 years, something like that.
All right. So
I've been an NPO for 20 years.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Just being a cop's like fishing, guys. You just keep embellishing.
Caught this sucker that was fucking huge.
I slapped this guy across the face, and then it turns into, oh my God, Levine got in a knockdown, drag out fight for his gun. It was insane.
Yep. Exactly.
So 5 years, we'll say that. We'll level it off. I like to round up. So 5 years, you've been an MPO, and you've been dealing with the homeless stuff regularly. Not to mention being tasked out doing Lord knows what other things higher ups want you to do. So just to give people kind of an idea, you've got your town hall meetings for your beat, which is where you meet once a month, maybe once a quarter. Just depends on how often they have them. You're working 2 beats.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Well, yeah. One of them is that it's just a neighborhood.
Okay.
But they made it its own beat because that neighborhood is going to be the size of a freaking town eventually.
I got you.
So they went ahead and got ahead of it, which hardly ever happens, right?
Yeah.
They made it its own beat. So the NPO that has this other one over here, which is right next door, right, is going to inherit that other one.
Oh, okay.
But that other beat is now getting pretty substantial in size.
Yeah.
And the problems they have are, increasing. Nothing that's super bad, but it's stuff that keeps you busy, keeps your phone ringing on the weekends and that kind of stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, technically I have the 2, but I'm probably still not nearly as busy as some of our other NPOs that have a beat that's half the size of just one of mine, but twice the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. High crime, all that stuff.
Yeah. And so they've got their work cut out for them.
Okay. So in that you're working, obviously you said the main priority was the homeless and the begging and stuff like that. And rather than go with the enforcement side, which it sounds like you tried that route and it didn't work. And we already know it doesn't work because all we're doing is the same thing that every other cop before us has done until you arrest them enough that the public's like, okay, that's good. You guys are doing a good job. Thanks. And then you back off and then it builds back up and it's just this constantly. So you get an outside the box idea and run with that.
Yeah. I mean, on the bike unit, when we were on the bike unit, we dealt almost exclusively with homeless and drunk people, sometimes the both, right?
Yeah.
And it's majority of your calls are subject at whatever place refusing to leave.
Right.
Refusing to leave. That's always the call. Any officer out there listening to this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's a very common call. And so the criminal trespass warning, which you brought up earlier, CTW for short, that's typically the route you go whenever a business calls and says such and such homeless person's back again and they're refusing to leave. So you show up, you give them that criminal trespass warning, you move on. You see, you give the copy to the business owner, you give a copy to the homeless person, you say, be gone. And if you come back and I come back out because you're here, now you're arrested for criminal trespass. And those trespass, one step higher than a ticket.
And those trespass warnings they have a shelf life of a year.
Yeah. Typically. Depends on who the DA is at the time, I think. But right now, about a year.
Okay.
But sometimes that works. That problem person comes back. You get them, they go away for, I don't know, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's a criminal trespass, nonviolent crime, so whatever. So anyways, even on the bike unit downtown, I mean, when I was taking classes at TCC, part of the whole Tarleton program to get that, and we had to do a community thing. I pulled the teacher to the side and like, hey, what about getting the class involved and donating clothes to me?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once I get enough, whoever wants to ride out with me, and I got this approved by Sarge before I did this. So
Yeah. Shut the
So
fuck
shut
up.
up. And so any student that's willing to do it and curious can ride out with me, and we're going to go out because this is in the wintertime, and we're going to find people that need them and give them these jackets or whatever, and to show them that we give a shit.
Yeah.
That we're not out here just to get them on the criminal trespass, to arrest them on their warrants. And maybe through that, we can get them to talk to us a little more and get them a home, like get them something.
Yeah.
Get them off the fucking street at the very least. That's the end goal, because I'm sick and tired of getting calls on them.
Right.
We all are.
Yeah.
And that's obviously we're out to help the person. Helping that person reduces the call load. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a panacea
It's
effort.
the big picture thing.
It's the big picture.
I don't want to keep arresting even normal offenders, people that are out stealing stuff out of your cars and shit like that. I don't want to keep arresting them. If I can figure out how to lower recidivism through some sort of program, because a lot of times it's a juvenile or a teenager, so if I can get them on a PAL program, boxing, getting them some sort of hobby, whatever it is, to stop them from reoffending, then it's worth the effort.
Yeah,
but
each individual has their challenges, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be age, a disability, they're a user, you got to get them off that shit, that kind of thing. And so the ideas started, rolling back then with just an effort of trying to help from that side, because as a cop, you have certain tools that the general public doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. And people listen to you kind of in a different way when you go in and ask some business for help to help this person.
In uniform.
Yeah. Because like, this officer's asking to help this guy. This guy must be worth it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of sucks to say, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And I'll exploit the shit out of that if it means helping a person get into a home. And so when I finally became an NPO and I could take the time to really learn people's stories and stuff like that, which I didn't have before, because you're subject to call.
Yeah.
You're kind of expected to go out there, deal with it, clear it, take the next call, right?
Yeah.
Be available for calls.
We're talking about a major city, folks.
Right.
This isn't, a little town of 4,000 people where there isn't a lot of calls happening.
Yeah.
This is, you get on shift, there's already 15, 20 calls waiting that have been waiting for you to get on shift to go take. So I'm just trying to give people a perspective. There is a little difference depending on the size of the city and the call loads and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I finally reached the beats I'm at now. And through answering calls on my beat, I meet Tony, who is getting called on because he's sleeping on the sides of buildings and in a tarp and stuff like that, refusing to leave, which
they never went to talk to him.
They never went to talk to him to begin with, but it's all right. He got us out there. I get it.
Yeah.
Because if the store owner tells them to leave and they do, there's no 911 call. What are you calling for? Yeah. Oh, a guy was on my property. I asked him to leave and they left. There's no offense. But if that business owner calls and says, hey, this person's refusing to leave, boom, we got an offense, criminal trespass, right?
Yeah. And
we just got to show up and ask them to leave. A lot of the times, that business owner never talked to that person anyways, because they know in order to get the police out there, they need to say that he's refusing to leave. And that's fine. That's totally fine. If that gets us out there to ID that person and that's what it takes, hell, I encourage some of my business owners to do that.
Yeah.
You know what? This guy's been back here 10 times. You keep telling him to leave. So for this 11th time, don't talk to him this time. Yeah. Just call us. Tell the call taker what you need to get us out there to set the call up. Because if they tell the call taker, hey, I got this homeless guy. Yeah, I know that if I go tell him to leave, he will. But I'm not going to tell him to leave because you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they set the call up. Go out there. I meet Tony. Super nice guy. He's got this little dog with him. He keeps claiming it's his service dog and all this stuff. And first time I met him, he was sleeping on the side of a pizza joint. And he never told me he was a veteran or anything like that. He never told me he had a truck in storage. He never told me his life story because I didn't ask.
Right.
All he was super cooperative and nice, even though I just woke him up out of a dead sleep,
Yeah.
And it was cold as shit outside and it was over the winter. And he would move on. So what do I have at that point?
Nothing.
And so yeah, exactly. So any new officers listen to this or whatever, like I can't ID the guy.
You can't Rambo his ass.
I can't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's gone. He's agreeing to leave.
That's so old school. If you're too young to remember the first Rambo, which wasn't called Rambo. So
But I'm not going to push the issue with him, right?
Yeah, don't draw first blood.
You don't draw first blood. That's right.
We're old.
So old.
I know. But
it's falling apart.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, I'm here for you.
Now that you know.
Now that I know. Hey,
you're reminded. Soundboard. Use it.
Knowing's half the battle.
It sure is.
Yes.
Yep. Attaboy.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
You're getting the corny version today, guys.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Or not.
Okay, so back to Tony, the real story. My bad.
Yeah. So he's always like willing to leave and shit, right? So I don't want to like, well, before you go, give me your ID. You know, tell me all this shit. Like, cool, man. We'll see you next time, because I know I'll get called on him again. And you start to develop that rapport. Yeah. So the next time he sees me,
he's like, I know. Yeah, he does one of those.
And he knows that I'm not that asshole that's going to, you know, jack him up and, you know.
He just doesn't know you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're not going to be a sarcastic asshole to him because you're in uniform. Sure. Like you would be to me.
Exactly.
In uniform.
Yeah. So. Now that he knows me more now, yeah. So anyways.
Okay.
But anyways, you know, getting calls on him. So I don't know, was it been a month now? We get a call on him at a grocery store or a gas station that's next to a grocery store. I see that a couple officers have already taken it. The description of the person in this call, I'm like, oh shit, that's Tony.
Yeah.
And I see it has to do with a service animal. I, at this point, have already kind of gotten to know Tony a little bit, and I've checked stuff out. The service animal excuse that he's been given, it checks out.
Yeah.
And it's for PTSD. I've already checked out that he's well, I haven't checked out. He's told me he's a veteran.
Okay.
Right? And that he was only in Texas to begin with to pick up this dog. And then when he was coming through Fort Worth, the engine in his Tacoma blew.
Oh,
and
shit.
So he's stuck over in my area, and he's been there ever since.
Oh.
And he's been trying to use the money he's been getting through Social Security and VA, which was roughly $2,500, $3,000 a month.
Okay. So he's almost 100% connected.
Almost.
Yeah.
We're getting him there, though.
There you go.
He's qualified. Now it's just a matter of getting him face to face with that VA doctor and all that, and
I think
signing off and 100%.
Yeah, 100%'s around 4 to 5.
Yep, 4.
Yeah.
For him, they said 4.
Okay.
So once we get that, he's golden.
Yeah.
Right? But anyways, so we get this call on him, and I see the details. Well, shit, that's Tony. So I take additional on the call. We go out there, and he's getting a little more upset than I've ever seen him. He's perturbed. He's getting frustrated.
So many contacts.
Yeah. There's 2 officers out here telling him, you know, get out of this gas station.
Now you got a third showing up.
And then now I'm here, and he sees it's me.
Okay.
We've already developed this rapport. He knows it's Spragins.
Yeah. He's so like, we must be de-escalating it, just your presence.
Yep. So I show up. I can see him kind of like, hey, man, can I tell you what's up? Like, please do,
Tell
Tony.
your boys to get the fuck out of here.
No, they were doing they don't know him. They don't know Tony, right?
Right.
They don't know a story like I do. But there again, that's the MPO role, in my view anyways. Yeah. You should start learning some of these stories so these calls that you keep getting on these certain individuals start making sense.
Dude, I just had a brilliant idea.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
You know
Another Levine idea.
You know me.
Oh, crap.
Okay, so you know how we keep a beat book. Mm-hmm. Old school guys do anyway. Keep a beat book. What if you were to make like how we have bolos, but instead of a bolo, it's, hey, if you see this guy in the beat, here's his story.
Yeah.
And then now you got your Tony story. This is what he's got going on. These are his things. So when somebody's looking through their homeless beat book, they can start going, oh, okay, this guy, he frequents the area. This is what our MPOs have on him. And now, dude.
Yeah, like we had on the downtown unit, thanks to some of the older guys that put that effort forward and had these 3-ring binders full of pictures, their criminal histories and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was thorough.
But that would be good. That's a little different. I'm tweaking that slightly to actually have a story behind the person, to personalize it a little more. I think that would be something worth exploring through an app.
Yeah.
There's got to be like, what was it, that app I used? Trello, maybe? I can't remember. I think there's an app where it's not designed to be a beat book, but you can use it as such. Any app developers out there, if you learn how to make a beat book app, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know how you can attach certain details to an address. Mm-hmm. So anytime a call, it pops up for that address.
Yeah.
The responding officer gets to see the notes for that address, whether it be the homeowner of this carries,
right.
Yada, yada, yada. For this situation, they describe the person.
Mm-hmm.
The call's about, I know who that person is.
Yeah.
Right? The call taker doesn't.
Right.
The other responding officer doesn't. So, that's definitely something to explore.
I know how to do it. I know how to do it now. The Teams app.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what Teams is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Teams is a Microsoft app. We've started using it on our department for the violent crime stuff, where all of the specialized units that deal with violent crime are on there. And then anytime there's a warrant, anytime there's suspect information, it's got all of you can create folders. So you could just basically do, NPO Spragins, and then you'd have your folder and you can do subfolders within that.
There you go.
And then just keep it to, your localized people, that beat. You could make a beat folder.
Yeah.
Now, the trick's going to be getting patrolled to actually use it.
Right.
But any officer that actually gives a shit will think of that as a valuable tool. And then they'll be able to update it themselves.
Yeah, because more times than not, you get the officer that gives a shit, and they're there, and they're like, yeah, we know there's more to this guy. Yeah. And so they'll find out who the MPO is, and they just call that MPO. And that works, too, if that MPO is available. Yes. And they're not on something else or on vacation or whatever.
And it's not fair to an MPO to have to pick the phone up every time. And folks that don't know, MPOs that care, they answer their phone every time. Just about. Because they feel obligated, because they have kind of a special shift, a special mission, which is a little, like, I take the community service part very seriously. So even for me, obviously. Right.
So, well, I don't know, man.
I
don't think you give a shit.
No. I've only spent, $20,000 on something that has not paid me back in any way. So
you're good.
Hey, it's working.
It is.
It's working. People are loving this shit. So we're spreading the word. And this is going to help people learn how to deal with homelessness in a long-term effect.
So, So through helping Tony, just finally get down to it. And we've taken the scenic route here.
No, it's fine.
But get call on him. And then I start finally drilling him with more questions, really start diving into his past a little more. Okay. About his dog and all that kind of stuff. And he has already told me before about this truck in a storage unit that's right around the corner. And I'm like, Tony, you said you got that truck, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you said that was a Tacoma? We all know Tacomas, man. They hold value. Yeah. Resale on those things are crazy. They're like Wranglers. He's like, walk over there. I'll meet you over there. Sure as shit he does. We go in.
You couldn't give him a ride?
No.
Dick.
He had a shopping cart. I was going to give him a ride. I was like, he's got all this shit in this shop. And I was like, you know what? It's right across the street. I was like, hey, man, meet me over there.
I'm sure he paid for the shopping cart.
Oh, sure. Plus, what I like to do in some of these situations is give them kind of a first step and see if they take it. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm going to go over there. Meet me there in 10 minutes and show me this truck. I didn't really expect him to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that officer's full of shit. I'm not going to waste my time. Mm-hmm. So he does. He meets me over there, shows me it, opens it up. He's got the whole front end of this thing disassembled. He's got the cylinder heads off. Like, the dude knows his way around an engine, but he can't figure out how to fix this shit. Okay. So there was some sort of recall on this thing that he had to take it in for prior to his trip to come pick up the dog from Alabama, and it caused him engine issues, which full surfaced when he was in Fort Worth. And so I just said it, didn't I?
That's fine.
It's okay.
The way you used it.
Cat's out of the bag.
The way you used it.
Because nobody has figured it out.
No.
Up to this point.
No.
No, it's been this huge mystery. Soundboard.
Oh, no. Mystery.
There it is.
Sorry.
We're learning. Yeah. We're learning.
I was like, joke. My bad. Mystery. I got it. Cues. I'm learning the cues.
Learning the cues.
This is why they don't even let us work on the same side of town.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. People see the names come down. Nope. Keep them separate.
Yep. Different sides.
So, anyways, I'm like, holy shit, Tony. You've got a decent amount of money sitting here, even as a parts truck. Right. And so this all started with me trying to help him, like, just get rid of this. Like, he just kept wanting to fix it because he wouldn't let go that the dealership had screwed him. And he was trying to get the dealership to fix it. I was like, buddy, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
That's why you've been on the streets out here in Fort Worth for as long as you have, because you're wasting your time on that shit.
Right.
Like, I can take some pictures of this, throw it on Marketplace. We could flip this as a parts truck, get you more than enough money, get you a throwdown car, like get you something.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, we're working on that. So I keep coming around. He stays in the same spot over by Walmart. And so I always know where he's at. Right. And it's really close to the gas station that's in the same kind of parking lot.
The one that always calls?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, this is a different one.
Oh, okay.
This gas station doesn't call for reasons I'll get to.
Okay.
They don't want the cops there.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyways, I always know where he's at, right? Doesn't have a phone yet and broken or whatever. And, you always hear that excuse. Oh, someone stole it, it's broken, I don't have a phone. Therein lies the next big issue. Is like, you want to help some of these people? How do you get a hold of them?
Right.
You can't. So you got to go back out there and find them. Lucky for me, Tony wanted the help. So as soon as I started like realizing, man, this dude actually wants the help. Hell yeah, let's do this. Tells me a veteran. So I call up one of our HOPE units, our homeless outreach guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
His name's Mike. He works West Side. Phenomenal officer. Like every time I've asked him for help, he's Johnny on the spot.
Nice.
And every time he says he's going to do something, he comes through. So I'm like, hey man, do you have a contact for the VA office? He's like, sure do. If I give you a name, social, DL, all that, can you check out VA status on a person? He's like, yep, sure can. It'll take me about a day to get an answer.
Yep.
Less than a day, he comes back. He's like, yep, Tony checks out. Not only that, he's got benefits waiting for him.
Oh.
He just needs to get down there to the office, which of course Tony doesn't know because
There's no way to get a hold of him.
There's no way to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
And so Tony, for more or less at the point where I met him, had kind of given up.
Okay.
He's almost at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in a certain spot where if he completely checks out, he's screwed.
Yeah.
Because there's enough narcotics going around amongst that crowd. Like he's going to get sucked in, and there's really hard to get out of.
Right.
We know. Right. And so he checks out. So I've learned that. Next day, find him. And I don't tell him I'm checking on him and stuff.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
But I'm more motivated now to help him out. So I tell him though that, hey, you need to get a hold of the VA office. I think you got benefits waiting for you. At this time, he's bought a phone from Walmart. He's he bought some clothes for himself because he is getting some benefits, right? And he calls him up. He gets a ride from a buddy. He goes down there and now he's in the process to get 100%.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what his percent was before, but it wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
So anyways, I started learning more about his deployments, the reason why he went in and all that kind of stuff. He's been wounded. I think he was shot 3 different times.
Holy shit.
Yep.
So he's a Purple Heart recipient. Yep. Damn.
He went in 01.
Damn.
Army.
That's the year I graduated high school. That's the year of 9/11, everything.
Yep. He graduated. Like straight in. Straight tie rat.
Damn.
Yeah, he's got some stories. But
shit.
and PTSD's hitting him pretty hard.
Sounds like a good guy to have on the show.
Telling you.
That'd be good.
He's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
He's easy to talk to. And so through him, well, let me back up a sec. He tells me when I keep coming around about this Tacoma and like, hey man, spitballing ideas about how to clean that shed out. Cause
you got another cube in there, by the way.
Oh, sweet. And so, he tells me, hey, he's got a buddy that's got an RV that he's going to give him or whatever, or let him rent for cheap. Somebody he met on the street. Like, yeah, okay, we'll see how that pans out. Of course it doesn't. But through that process, he had heard about this foundation from Weatherford. And this is where everything started changing, called Operation Texas Strong. It takes in donated RVs.
Hold on.
Yep.
Operation
Mm-hmm.
Texas Strong.
Yep. And their website's .org. So operationtexasstrong.org.
I'm writing the time down because when I do a sound clip, it'll be from this area. So.
And so he tells me he found this place. He's got a phone now, right? So he looks it up, calls him. Bobby answers the phone. Bobby and his wife Peggy run this ship. And they own a record service out of Weatherford. For whatever reason, they got motivated, and they have a lot of family that are veterans. I think some still enlisted. They got a bug that said, you know what? Let's start this effort. We're going to take in donated RVs because they see them all the time out there, out in the sticks. They're just rotting away. but they're still livable with a little elbow grease.
Right.
Get them to donate it to us. They get the tax write-off because they're a Texas nonprofit. We'll fix them up however much they need, which is very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
And then through our application process, a homeless veteran goes on there, fills out their stuff, proves to them that they're a veteran with their discharge copy of their papers and stuff like that, which is all going to be super challenging to a person living on the street, right?
Yeah.
But if they can make that effort, then okay, it's worth it to them. Like, hey, let's meet up. We're going to donate you an RV. Sounds great, right?
So how'd you find out about them?
Tony
knew about them.
Tony heard about it through somebody. I forgot who. He told me, but I forgot.
Okay.
Through that whole friend RV situation that fell through.
Yeah.
He had heard about some place in Weatherford donating RVs to homeless vets. And that was the end of it. And it was called Operation Texas Strong. And he told me that.
Okay.
And he found the phone number for them and called them. And so Bobby tells him, hey, yeah, man, you're going to have to fill out our application first. So Bobby at this point has no idea who this guy is, right? Or that he's that close, because I work way west side, right? And super close to where this operation is. And so Tony does. He figures out a way to get on. He fills out the application and everything. So he gets in line for a donated RV. So now he's in line. And so Tony's telling me all this. One of these days I came into the parking lot and we're just shooting the breeze. And he's telling me about this. And I was like, you have this dude's phone number? And he does. He gives it to me. I was like, all right, well, I'll call him up later today. And I do. So I'm doing my other things throughout that day. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to call that guy. So I call this guy, Bobby. I'm like, hey, man, do you have a Tony on your application list? He's like, yeah, he just put it in yesterday or whatever. I was like, so how long does that take? He's like, well, we got a couple in front of them, and then we got to wait for more RVs to come through. And this whole time, once I've learned that Tony gives a shit and he wants the help and he's actually putting forth the effort, time is not on our side, right?
Right.
Because
it only takes one relapse.
Yeah, in the area he was in, and I don't know, man. I just felt like we need to get this done as soon as possible. The more we drag our feet on this, the worse it's going to be. And if I don't come through on this, right, when I keep telling him I'm going to do something, he's going to completely lose faith in humanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm like, all right, so I tell this guy by, he's like, what can we do? He's like, well, there is this one Class C RV, which is, your drivable RV. Yeah. Down in Granbury, which is ain't close. He's like, you can figure out a way to get that to the RV park that Tony wants to go, which is an hour and a half away from where that RV is.
And it was drivable, or you had to tow it?
Fuck no, it wasn't drivable.
Of course
This is a 1982 Winnebago.
Hell yeah.
Right?
At least it's a Winnebago.
Hell yeah. So it's been sitting there. It hasn't started in over 7 years.
Ouch.
It is on the property of the parents of the sheriff of that county.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool little twist there. Whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, I find out the wife of the sheriff is my contact. Okay. And she's super helpful, super nice, super responsive. And I'm like, I tell her the story, tell her who I am. And she's like, man, that's really cool. So, whatever we got to do. Cool. Well, challenge is finding a record service. Yeah. Right. So I start calling the record services in the town of Decatur, which is where the RV park is that Tony wants to end up. And let me say that Tony had the wherewithal to realize that he needs to put whatever RV he gets, because this started when he thought he was getting his friend's RV. Right. Right. And his friend was going to tow it to this park for him. That he found this park on his own through his own searching that was far enough removed away from the situation he's in now to where he'd actually have a chance.
He could start over.
Yeah. He realized that. I was like, well done, sir. So I start calling record services that are in that town, Decatur, and come across one that's like, yeah, we'll do it. And it took a few days for him to give me the quote. We'll do it for $550. Holy shit. Okay. $550, you're going to take your big rig, an hour and a half down the road, hook this sucker up, an hour, so 3-hour round trip, plus the hookup. I was like, that is a bargain. Yeah. So I tell Tony this. I'm figuring this out in the parking lot when I get that quote. And I'm like, Tony, that's nothing.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Impact Tactical. Impact is a tactical outfitter for the men and women of our military, police, fire departments, and other public safety around the country. Impact's core beliefs is that fearless men and women protect our freedom and safety should have access to the best tactical performance apparel, equipment, and tools on the market. and they shouldn't have to go broke to get it. I've used Impact for about 11 years, and I can attest that they do live up to their core values. So you get a personal recommendation from me. You can find them at impacttactical.com. That's MPAK tactical.com. And be sure to tell them that 2 Cops, 1 Donut sent you.
He's like, well, I don't get paid till the 15th. You know, can I pay you back? I'm like, well, I ain't paying for it.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'm not going to like.
I got 2 kids at home.
Yeah,
I got dogs.
But,
yeah.
I mean, I will if it comes down to it.
Right.
We'll just figure it out.
But we got enough resources. We can find the money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we got enough resources. And
we can find it.
Through the whole car show stuff, like, you just see the amount of support that's out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. You could probably, honestly, with the outreach you have in your community, not to mention me, I could post that and we could have that in an hour.
Right.
So
I tell the guy, yep, let's schedule it. So he puts us on the schedule. I think it was a Tuesday. And he goes, let us get it done, and then we'll settle up. I was like, all right, cool.
Fair enough.
So in the meantime, I know I need to raise $550. So I reach out to my bike racing team, Trinity Racing. And
Trinity helped out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I posted it on our team app. And, yeah, people came forward, threw some money in the pot. But we still need a little more. My buddy at work, Dosey Dough Pizza.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's like...
future sponsor of 2 Cops, 1 Donut.
The best pizza out there. Oh, my God.
Have you had it? I haven't had it yet.
Oh,
I just found out.
That.
Okay, just for folks listening, a coworker of mine has his own pizza place called Dosey Dough.
Phenomenal.
He's from New York, and he makes these pre-made pizzas and sells them. It's a little side business for him.
You know where the meat board is on Camp Bowie?
No, I've never. Shop? I haven't. I'm invited to the next one.
Okay.
So I haven't done it yet, but I know what you're talking about.
It's a butcher shop. You can
it is actual.
You can go in there for lunch or order whatever you want. They got salads, they got burgers, and all that kind of stuff. They sell his pizzas in their cooler.
Oh.
So that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
You can go in there anytime you want and buy.
Very cool.
Buy Dosey Dough. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said he wanted to sponsor the show, like a small sponsorship, he wants to help support another cop.
And he's a veteran.
Yeah.
And so once he learned the story about Tony, he's like, how can I help? And I was like, you can help settle this tow bill. He's like, hell yeah, I'm in. So I got the bill covered.
Nice.
Right. We got the money. So now we just got to get it done.
Did you get any extra?
No.
Nothing? Oh, I didn't mean for you. I mean for him.
No.
Oh, okay. You just covered the bill?
We barely made enough to cover the bill.
Okay. Gotcha.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
However, I'm not good at this kind of shit. I put it out there how much the bill was. See what I'm saying?
I gotcha. Yeah.
Like, hey, we only need to raise this much. So I think when people see that, like, I'll chip in $20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you'll get 100 more people. It's easy.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got enough. Just leave it at that. And we go down there with approval from Sarge and all that. This definitely helped through this whole process to have supervisor support.
Oh, for sure.
Support from the whole freaking chain.
Yeah.
They were all on board. Like, this is badass.
Absolutely.
Like, what can we do to help you see the truth? Anyways, so I drive down there to Granbury, meet the wrecker, meet Bobby and his wife. And at the same time that we're down there hooking it up, Tony is getting a lift from his buddy who actually has a car and knows him. And he's going to go to the RV park, make sure the spot's secure, good to go. Because that was the challenge I gave him. I go, before we get this thing on this wrecker, you need to call me and tell me we are good to go 100% before we tow this thing an hour and a half up the fucking road.
And can't park it.
And we're turned away.
Yeah. Because
the owner of this RV park is like, I didn't agree to an old 1982 Winnebago piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not a piece of shit. It's old and dirty.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, a lot of these parks, they have a rule. Like your RV can't be more than 7 years old or stuff like that. Because my dad in his retirement, he's got an RV. That's not an RV, but whatever, a livable quarter trailer on property on Lake Fork.
Yeah.
Now, but it has to be from like 2015 or above.
Right.
Okay? Yeah.
Well, and so through this process, the wife, the sheriff's wife, she told me, she's like, the owner of this RV park, this person approved this Class C? I was like, and then I don't know the last thing about RV parks, right?
Right. Yeah.
I was like, shit, good call. So I tell Tony, like, hey man, send her these pictures of the RV. And he does it all. So I even talked to her at one point through this, told her the story, told her it's legit, and she was all on board. She's like, yep, just get it here. We'll take care of them.
Very
No
cool.
problem at all. So I was like, hell yeah. Every step of the way.
Somebody's been supportive.
So everybody, like, I tell them the story, tell them who I am, tell them who Tony is, what Tony has done.
Yeah.
And they're like, tell me how I can help.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so his name was Drew, the record driver. I felt so bad for this dude. We got to get this Class C pulled out to the street so he can even have a chance to hook up the front wheels, right? Because he's going to have to drag it by the rear.
Okay.
You can't get it on the flat. If you put this thing on the flatbed, it'd be so tall, it'd be hitting power lines.
Oh, no.
So he's got to, for one, get the rear drums freed up, the brakes, because they've been sitting for almost a decade. Up. They're all rusted.
Yeah.
And we got to get it back down into the street. So the the guy who owns it, old timer, he's got a big diesel. So he hooks a chain up to it and drags it out to the street. No wheels are moving. just
sliding.
Just skidding onto the street, and finally gets it there so the wrecker can back up to it. So we got it to that point. That record driver worked for something like 3 hours to get the rear drums to free up. It's a dually. So he had to take off the outside wheels, and on the driver's side, he took off both wheels to access the whole drum and just pounded away on it just to break up the rust and all that. Got it going, man.
No shit.
Got it going. So, yeah.
So this hasn't even gone to the Operation Texas Strong yet.
No, they met us there in Granbury.
Okay.
To give the donor the paperwork to
right.
For donation
for the
purposes, so they can write it off. So they're kind of like the middleman, even though this RV never made it to their lot. Right? They're the reason for the donation. Yeah. Right? Correct. So it's a legit donation now because it went through a nonprofit. So the title goes from the donor. I carry it up to Tony, and now it's signed over to Tony. Okay. And he signs it. And so Texas Operation Texas Strong was involved from that point. Okay. They wanted to be there and see the RV, take pictures of it, meet me. I still hadn't met Bobby yet at this point, face to face anyways. And they see the RV off, and then they go back to work. And so I follow the record driver all the way up to Decatur with the lights on and stuff to keep traffic off of us.
Very cool.
And people are like triple looking like, what the hell?
Is he chasing them?
Like what I kept assuming the whole time, like if I saw that ride down the road, it'd be like, that's evidence. Oh, yeah. That's a meth lab or something. Yeah. Breaking Bad. That's Walter White's RV. There it is. There it is. You're getting better.
I'm getting better. Woo. I'm remembering.
All right. We're rolling now, buddy. So we get it up there, and it took freaking all day. Literally, it was a 9-10 hour day for that record driver.
Oof. For $550.
So Bobby down there, who's a record driver, owner himself, does this kind of shit. He knew what this guy was going through. He tipped that guy pretty well down there, which he did not have to do. Yeah. And let me say that this operation, their nonprofit, is funded by them. They get some donations, but because people just don't know about them that much, that's getting fixed. But just a lot of people don't know about them, so they don't get a ton of donations monetary wise. So a lot of this effort's funded by them.
I'll add them to my charities page.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And whatever they can make through their record service is what helps fund the tows and repair work or whatever they need to do to get this donated trailer to this homeless vet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyways, we get it up there. He unloads it, and Tony's up there and super appreciative. He hadn't seen it in person yet. Okay. Like, it needs a little work.
It needs some love.
He was a fuel specialist.
Fuels.
Yeah. And when he was enlisted, and he knows his way around. He's a handy dude. Yeah. And seeing the pictures, what he's done to that thing now, I just got some yesterday, and the thing looks brand new.
On top of what the organization did?
Organization didn't do anything because it came from the donor straight to Tony.
Oh,
it never came to them.
Okay, so they don't. Okay, so they didn't fix it up at all. Tony did it all. No shit.
Yep. So a lot of this, Tony, he get a lift from. So, anyways, the Drew shows up with the RV. We get there, we unload it, get leveled out, and all that. get some water hooked up to it, find it has some leak. Like,
of course,
it's a 1982. It's going to need some work, but it's got an old AC unit on the roof that technically is working, but it's not draining well. The fins are all smashed on the coils. So it needs some love. But is it a roof over his head? Is it better than a Walmart parking lot? Shit, yeah. And he's super appreciative, especially now that he's got something to focus on. He's got his project. So anyways, he's been doing wonders with it, and he's been getting lifts from some people in the little park that have come to know him and appreciate him, because he's been helping them out too. Getting lifts to Lowe's and stuff like that. So anyway, I called the record service owner when we're leaving. I'm like, hey man, how do I settle up with you? You want my card number or whatever? And he's like, get a hold of me Thursday. And it's Tuesday at this point. You know, he was busy at the time, is the way he made it sound. He was like, all right. So Thursday rolls around, and I call him. His name is Terry. And it's Kemp's Towing. And call him up Thursday. He's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. We got this one.
No shit.
I was like, you shitting me, man? I was like, your dude spent almost 10 hours of his day getting this one RV to, like, really?
Yeah.
He's like, we just want to help. I was like, God, okay. All right.
No shit.
Well, thanks, man.
Good for them. Good for them, though. That's awesome.
Fantastic. I think he had heard the story. I made a Facebook post about it, and then the operation shared it, and it kind of blew up a little bit. Yeah. Especially from something that I would post. Right. And I get like 20, you know what I mean? Yeah. I never use social media. Yeah. And anyways.
You need to.
Yeah. Well, I found that how advantageous it can be for something like this, because Operation Texas Strong is this is obviously not just because of my post, but people sharing it and then doing their own thing about it and stuff like that. The story's been getting around, and they've been getting a hell of a lot of donations here lately.
That's awesome.
So he didn't want my money. All right.
Here you go, Tony. Here's $550.
Well, I didn't want to. He needs parts and shit, right? Yeah. So I think it was the next weekend or the weekend after. I took my boys up there on the weekend in my truck, and we stopped by Lowe's on the way. Got him the gift cards and got him some roof sealer. Got him some stuff he had already told me he needed
for the RV,
because I kept asking him. Yeah. And because again, he doesn't tell me shit. I have to keep asking him, like, hey man, what's the latest? And he was like, well, the toilet leaks and all that kind of stuff. Like,
I saw him. Yeah.
I almost had it.
I thought you had him.
Mosquito.
Yeah. There's a mosquito in the room. We keep trying to get him.
And so that's where I put the money into Lowe's gift cards and stuff. And he's been using it to seal stuff up and make it livable. Okay. So the biggest hurdle though, because it was hot as balls, man, when we did this. Yeah. That AC unit wouldn't keep up. Okay. It was trying. It was trying its best, but he sourced a window unit from somebody willing to help in the park, and that was helping a little bit. But when I went to Western Trailers off of Camp Bowie, I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to plug the shit out of them because they're awesome. Do it. Western Trailers off of Camp Bowie West, near the Loop. No,
you're good.
I think they've been there for, I don't know how many decades. They've been there a long time. And the owner works in there, and her employees, when I went in there and told them the story and told them, hey man, the dude needs an AC unit. How much are those? And this is before I did the Lowe's thing, because I'm thinking I'm going to put that money towards an AC unit. Uh-huh. So sorry, I got ahead of myself a little bit. I'm like, we're going to take that money, because he doesn't know I raised that money first off. So I'm going to put that towards an AC unit. Treat him to a brand new one or whatever, or use him something better than what he's got. Yeah. And went in there, told him the story. Like, oh yeah, man, we got these things. They're the same size cutout on all of them. Even back then, they're like 14 by 14 or whatever. Yeah. They'll look a little different on top, but the hole that goes into the roof's all the same. Seal's the same. Okay, cool. So we got some sitting in the back. Now I just got to pick it up. And I go, how much? Don't worry about it. We'll write it off. We just want to help. Holy shit. Okay.
Nice. So they donated one.
So they donated that. And the tech that worked there at the time, his name's Johnny, he heard about it. And he's like, here's my number. Gave me his cell phone number. He's like, when you get it up there and you need any help, call me. If you guys can't get it, I'll go up there on my weekend and help them out. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. So pick it up in the truck, still have the money. That's what happened. Yeah. So we had the AC unit in the back. We went and got the Lowe's stuff. delivered it to him. So he's got a brand new AC unit on top, blowing ice cold.
Nice.
And he's got that inside crisp and clean. Like, I went and picked him up, was that last week, to go to the council session because Michael Crane wanted to do a kind of a little recognition about the whole thing.
Who's Michael Crane?
He's the council member for my area.
Okay.
So my 2 beats encompass his district. His district encompass my 2 beats. Michael Crane. Okay. Great guy.
Sounds like Michael Crane needs to be on the show.
oh, you probably love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did a little spotlight on it at the Tuesday council work session.
Very cool.
So I had to go pick him up for that. And then Bobby met us there, and he gave me a ride back. But when I went and picked up Tony for that, he was very proud, like, show me, what he's done is amazing. He's taken this opportunity and been running with it. So,
well, whatever pictures you got from it, send them to me, and I'll post them when I post the story.
All right.
Because I'm sure people that are interested in this are going to want to follow through and see exactly what it started from to what it became.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
But yeah, just to go back to, like, when you meet somebody as a cop trying to work your area and try and do something, you meet somebody like Tony who actually gives a shit, and they're going to put forth their own effort too.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell, man? It's easy.
Right.
There's nothing to it.
Yeah.
And this Operation Texas Strong, been trying to tell other officers about it. If you meet a homeless veteran on your beat, look into it.
Yeah.
Because because it's a special situation. They might be getting VA benefits. They have enough coming in to cover rent at some RV park of their choosing, whatever. So now the only real challenge lies in getting that donated trailer from wherever it's coming from to the RV park that so-and-so wants to go, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So that towing service, I met another one in the city that we work that's willing to help, said they will hook it up.
Okay.
They'll help.
Nice.
And so the word's getting out. And now that people are starting to realize how easy this can be to get a homeless veteran off the street, and give them a chance at least.
Right.
If they want it, it's a piece of cake.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome, man. I mean, people don't know this story blew up. Like, I'm actually behind the curve. I knew Joey had done this. I saw a Fox News article that was about to happen, I guess. And
yeah, it fell through.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. They contacted us on a Sunday morning. Said, hey, this was Fox and Friends, the national, kind of like a Good Morning America type thing. And they shared the link from the CBS one that they had done a story on it.
Yeah.
And like, hey, we saw this. This is a great story. Would you guys be willing to come on? And we were going to meet down they were going to send 2 of their camera people down to meet us and do it live. Yeah. But it fell through.
What
They ended up emailing us that night at like 10 p.m. saying, so sorry, but we have to cancel. Hopefully we can reschedule. We haven't heard from him since. So.
Okay, so I just had Chad Prather on. Chad works for Daily or The Blaze or something like that. He's got his own TV show and whatnot. But I guarantee if he finds out about this, it may be I don't know exactly what he has on his show. I don't know like what his format is. Like if it's only politics or if he...
Right.
But I'll try to put it on his radar, see if he'd be interested. I'm not saying that I've got it like that, like I'm networked that tight with the guy. But hey, I'll throw it out to him. If it works awesome. But
that'd be great because the whole.
You probably don't need to now because it's been on Two Cops One Donut.
That's true.
Let's face it. You're gonna get
done deal.
Yeah, tens of people are gonna see this now.
So many, like 5.
Yeah, 5 or 6 at least, including our parents, because our parents are gonna watch it because we're on it. So
to the 10 people out there listening, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes. But man, it's like, now that the Hope unit, like Mike knows about it, and he's been contacting me. Like he just met a guy the other day. He was enlisted in I think he was discharged in the 80s.
Oh shit.
He's an old timer.
Okay.
Big struggle for that guy, but he's getting VA benefits. He's getting $3,000 a month, which this is a point I wanted to bring up. At $3,000 a month, benefits that he's getting through the VA, he makes too much to qualify for housing. Where we're at. And the whole housing challenge, like if we were to get Tony into the housing issue, let's just say he wasn't bringing in enough and he qualified.
Right.
Problem with those situations is they're not removed from the challenges that surround them when they're on the streets. They're still surrounded by those challenges and those temptations and all that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether it be narcotics or whatever.
Right.
They're not completely removed from that like they would be when you go that far out of the way, an hour and a half up the road to an RV park.
Yeah.
Like, it seems so random to say, but it's so simple.
Yeah.
So you got so many RVs out there that are collecting dust, and the owner is never going to use them again. They just don't know how the hell to get rid of it. Well,
yeah.
Here you go. Here's
Dude.
your opportunity.
Dude, it's fucking awesome, though, man. I love good stories, good success stories, good stories where an officer actually puts... I'm not going to say you put minimal effort. You didn't put minimal effort, but I know how the job goes. It just takes a second to give a shit.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Give a shit. Like, take time to hear someone's story. It doesn't matter how much preconceived notion you have that the guy's full of shit. It doesn't take much to look into it and see if what they're saying is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Said he's a veteran. Okay, well, let me reach out to a liaison. Cool. He is a veteran.
Yep.
All right. I can go from that.
Because that's the first thing, right? You're being told something by somebody that needs help. And, of course, our first,
the cynical part. Yeah.
Cynical, like it's
yeah. But because we've been lied to so many times.
Exactly.
Like, and I try to tell this to the public, like, community, listen, even the most honest person lies to us.
Yep.
Like, it's weird. It is weird. It's like people have an inherent nature to lie to police, not about stuff that doesn't matter, like that you will, and we'll figure it out. We see through it. So that is where the cynical part of cops and stuff like that starts to come through, where we're just like, oh, you're full of shit. Yeah, you're full of shit. Well, you know what? Not everybody is full of shit. And it just takes some work, some self-reflection as you as a cop to look back and go, okay, am I giving this guy a fair shake? Yeah. And, I've caught myself doing it. Oh, this person's full of shit. Like, and I look back and be like, is that something you're willing to risk, Levine? Do you really want to just go off of a preconceived notion because you've been bullshitted with so many times? Or you actually going to put just a half a...
Yep. When I had my first beat, the one before I have now, and I was in my first year as an NPO, met a guy behind a Walmart this time.
Okay.
He was a homeless guy. He claimed to be a veteran. And super soft-spoken, just the nicest guy. And, man, he had some struggles. And it was all about depression. He wasn't a user, anything like that. He didn't show any of those typical signs, you know what I mean? And I was like, first time meeting him, and he starts telling me a little bit. And I was like, hey, man, you like coffee? He's like, yeah, I love coffee. I was like, let's go get a cup of coffee.
That's the Joey Spragins way. Yeah. I don't know. Let's go down that rabbit hole real quick. We're gonna sidetrack from Joey's important story here to explain how Joey Spragins got me off of sugary coffees into being a man and drinking black coffee. So
enjoy coffee for the taste.
Yeah, so I've been a cop probably 6-7 years at the time. We meet in the academy, and Joey's like, let's go get coffee. I'm like, all right, cool. The only real coffee I like is from Starbucks, and it's peppermint mocha. That was it. That was the only coffee I liked. Being from Michigan, cold weather, like that's the perfect mountainside.
God, we ragged the hell out of you too for that. Like, you ordered a what?
A peppermint mocha
with extra salt or something. Like that?
Salada foam or whip, extra whip. Yeah. So I liked. That's what I liked. I didn't know any better. So, he's like, we're gonna make this a project. He's like, you're not just gonna suddenly like coffee. So I'm gonna guide you down, and he did. We started with like some coffee with I think a syrup in there, and then you got me, like, okay, we got 3 pumps in this one. Next time we'll do 2 pumps, and then the next time we'll get down to 1, and then we'll switch to just a sugar packet, and then now look at me, I got a regular delivery of Black Rifle coffee in the Keurig, and that's all I drink. I don't put anything in it.
Yep.
And that's that's good directly because of this man. He is the reason.
You can blame me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but I became a coffee connoisseur. Like I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. When you stop putting shit in it.
Yeah.
You start actually tasting it for what it is.
Yeah. It's just like whiskey. It's like
coffee.
I see somebody take something like this and put Coke in there. And I'm
God.
like, I will murder you. Not in this place. I call them.
Say that for Jack Daniels.
I call it bitch blankets. You're basically putting a bitch blanket over your bourbon. Don't bitch blanket your bourbon, guys.
Brilliant.
Yeah. You know what? I think I just figured out a new hat that I'm going to get made.
Bitch blanket?
Bitch blanket. Don't bitch blanket your bourbon. That's what it's going to be.
I like it.
I don't know if that's a real thing, but
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So, okay, back to real topics here.
What
So
were we talking
you
about?
had the second guy behind the Walmart. He was soft-spoken. He had a little bit of depression issues.
Yeah, he was suicidal.
Oh.
And, we went and got a cup. And this is my first year being an MPO, and I'm trying to, like, exploit the hell out of actually having that kind of time to do that, right? Like, I don't have to...
That one's loud.
Oh, that's great.
Sorry. I didn't know
So
that was
those
going to
listening,
happen.
that's a cork to a whiskey bottle.
Yes, sir. Drink that little bit of, I just want you to, I'm giving you a splash.
Yeah, just a splash.
Yeah, because you got to drive after this. So this is Blue Note, unfiltered, uncut. This is a very rare find, sir. So I just wanted you to have a taste.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry,
So-
but I didn't know my bottle was going to intrude.
I wanted to like hear this dude's story. Like he told me he was a veteran, and he checked out in the long run. At the time,
Oh, so he was a veteran.
he was an Army veteran, yeah.
Okay.
And he'd been out for just a few years, but he told me his story, man, and holy shit, had to do with his wife passing away while he was deployed, and she was in the Army also. Got in her car, like he couldn't handle it. Alcoholism got him, and he ended up homeless. Like long story short, he told me the whole story, but long story short, he ended up homeless because of that tragedy.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And,
Who could?
All right.
Shit.
So, anyways, I forget now why he ended up in the city he did, but I was like, shit, man, do you want help? He's like, yeah, would love it. Just it doesn't know where to go.
Yeah.
And even he'd been through the shelters and still hadn't learned anything about housing. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Yeah. He ended up where he was. And so I reached out to a outreach group, and they met us there at that time. Like they were like, wait, you're there with them now? And I'm like, yeah, we're having a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, we're coming. So they show up, and these are the outreach people. I think it was Helping Hands was the outreach group that works with the city, right?
Yeah.
And they showed up. They got all of his information and put him in the housing, put him on the housing list. And because he's a veteran, you get fast tracked. There's a couple reasons why you'll get fast tracked on housing. Like you have kids, maybe you're pregnant. There's some emergent reasons. But if you're a veteran and you check out, you'll get fast tracked.
Okay.
And sure shit he did. But at that time, I had to take him to the hospital because he was claiming he wanted to hurt himself.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And so I took him there, hopefully to get him the help he needed. And he didn't have a phone, which really
Typical story.
That is everything.
Yeah.
I had no way of contacting him.
And you'll constantly hear that joke. So get him an Obama phone.
Right. Yeah.
Like, listen,
So
people, you have no idea how much a phone in itself fucking helps. It helps you help them.
it does.
Yeah.
It really, really does, because you got to be able to communicate. And so he gets a ride to the hospital, take him up there, release him. I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to do my best to stay in touch with you. So we get past that. Of course, I don't hear. And at the minimum, when an officer takes someone in to be mental apt, right?
Right.
Because they're suicide, whatever, there's a 72-hour hold. So I wait that time, and I don't see him in my beat. I called the Helping Hands place. They haven't heard from him. And I called the hospital. I've never done this before.
Okay.
They said they've never had this happen before. And I'm like, hey, has this guy been discharged? I know you can't tell me like
Medical
because of
information.
HIPAA, you know, but is he still there? And they're like, no, he was released, the day before or whatever. And I was like, fuck. So me and myself and the outreach group, we stayed in contact for a little bit. Like we kept trying to find him and we never could find him. And to the outreach people, their best guess is that he killed himself.
No.
Yeah. And I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
So you can't find him to this day.
nope. And I ran his name for years after that. seeing if he was in our system. And that was the last time we handled him. So it's either, hey man, I'll get, we'll think the best, right? That he got a ride or something and he's out.
I'm already tearing up, you asshole. So,
but to the outreach people who have seen this time and time again, they're like, they knew him because they had been talking with him.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we think he, so
no shit.
I always think about that. And I'm like, if that guy had a phone, in the second he was out of that hospital, he could call me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The difference it could have possibly made.
We could meet up, go get lunch.
Yeah.
Just have somebody to contact.
Yeah.
And when you're an officer and you're that person, you're that point of contact for that person, it changes everything.
Yeah.
Because for Tony to have that as his point of contact and not some outreach group person, you know what I mean? Social worker.
Who's got to help a ton of people.
It changed everything for his outlook.
Yeah.
It did. So I was willing to exploit the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And run with it.
I'm with you.
Right? Because we're in a unique spot as cops.
Yeah.
To really flip the script for people.
We're held to a higher standard. And that higher standard comes with some benefit that police are too sometimes proud to use.
Yep.
Where I get it. You don't want to use it for that free cup of coffee. You don't want to use it for that free meal. But when you start to flex it because you're helping not just that person at that time, it's the big picture.
Yep.
You're helping society. So you're helping everybody else that was going to call on him.
Yeah. Once we got Tony there and, he's trying to get the thing running. Right.
Yeah.
Because he's an engine. He knows engines. So he's like challenged himself. Like, I'm going to get this thing running.
Yeah.
And so he told me the fuel line was clogged and he needs some fuel line. Like, all right, there's an AutoZone on my beat. So I go into the AutoZone. I talk to the manager.
Tell him the story.
Fuck
yeah.
And I'm like, hey, got this guy. We got him an RV. He's a homeless veteran. And I learned about her. Her name's Angel. And ironically enough, right?
Yeah.
And I start learning about her.
Yeah.
And she lives in the town next door. And she's part of a group that helps veterans. And I'm like, holy shit, here we go. So she gets my contact, I get hers. She shares my story to a Facebook page in her town, which is right next door. Nick blows up over there. And so she's got people over there willing to help. And I end up meeting a lady who does estate sales. And she's always been trying to find a way to pay it forward through all this shit she gets through these estate sales. Like she gets good TVs, she gets good furniture, all this stuff.
Oh.
And
brilliant.
We get in contact through this because I went into this AutoZone and told this manager. Yeah. And by the way, she hooks me up with fuel line and all this shit that Tony needs. And I get it out to him. He gets the thing running.
So that he was right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got this fucking thing.
I love that his credibility just keeps checking boxes. Like every time he tells you he's doing something.
Yeah. Imagine a 1982 Winnebago that's been sitting close to a decade with the sludge that's been sitting in that oil pan. And gas tank.
Oh yeah.
He got it cleaned out. He got it running, purring like a kitten, and he actually drove it around the RV park just to say he did.
God, could you imagine the confidence? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by HRH Combat Arms. They can turn your vision into reality. They specialize in gunsmithing and Cerakoting. Your Cerakote specialist is Air Force veteran and retired police sergeant Paul Ware, a.k.a. the Sarge. He can Cerakote your firearms, auto parts, tools, even your sports equipment. This veteran-owned business is located at 5025 Saunders Suite 103, Fort Worth, Texas, 76119. You can call them at 682-304-0363, and you can find them online at www.hrhcombatarms.com. That's www.hrhcombatarms. Builder that's been for a guy who just keeps getting slapped down.
That's what I'm saying.
Just the confidence. I mean, you give him the tools, and then instead of just handing it to him and fixing it for him, he's building his own way.
So I meet this real estate lady through the AutoZone manager, and she's like, "What does he need?" I was like, it'd be really cool. Hook him up with a TV. Like, get him a little RV-sized TV. Get him something so he can relax.
Yeah, don't give him a 72-inch lady. I mean, as cool as that would be, we can't fit it. Yeah.
So she calls me over this weekend, and sources one. It's like, hey, can you meet me tomorrow morning? So I'm meeting her tomorrow morning, picking up this TV for Tony. And she's acquiring some woodworking tools for him because he's helping people out in the RV park.
Yeah.
And needs.
You know what I'd like to get, Tony? This is just outside thinking in. You're in an RV park, right? And you're basically limited to the confines of that RV. And how nice would it be, just like us wanting to go to the movie theater, going to any of that stuff, have the ability to have maybe an inflatable outdoor theater.
Inflatable outdoor
Have you seen one?
No.
So this is a big thing
I don't know
now.
what this is.
They're super cheap. They're not expensive. It's an
Really?
inexpensive thing.
Okay.
You basically get like this little pocket-sized projector that can connect through your phone, and it will play a movie.
Okay.
Projects on an outdoor.
All right.
That way he can get outside of his thing. You know, let's you know, if he wants to play video game, whatever the hell he wants to play, just get him outside of the RV. I'm just thinking outside the box.
That'd be badass.
Yeah, it's not like, you know, there's so many luxuries we have these days.
Yeah.
I think we take advantage of Netflix, all that shit. God, that'd just be something.
That would be awesome.
I think that'd be cool.
To get serious though, for someone like Tony, who suffers extreme PTSD.
Yeah.
Dude doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Like some of the stories when I drove him to the council work session meeting, I cried a little bit. Dude doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, so what happened? Like he listed in 01, got out in I think 2010. He said he was in for roughly 9 years.
Oh shit. So he
and he kind of bounced around from place to place and has been homeless for close to 10 years up to this point.
Damn.
Because he met some people that gave a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And let's face it, the job that he did in the military doesn't exactly apply outside.
Exactly. So therein lies the issue. That's why I was asking. I was like, man, what happened? And his family, no nice way of putting it, sucks.
Yeah.
And he did not have the support system he needed when he came back home.
Yeah.
Period. And he fell apart. And he didn't want anything to do with them because there was some land that was owed to him through his grandfather. He passed away. He deploys. While he's deployed, his family sells this shit off. So when he comes back, he's got nothing to come back to. So he stays in.
And I'm sure they kept the money.
And he probably would have stayed in the service if he could have. But he was shot 3 different times and eventually got deemed, I don't know what you term it, but unemployable.
Oh, you see, probably medically discharged because of his.
Right.
Yeah.
But, he's honorably discharged.
Yeah.
So he didn't get a medical, but because of his PTSD, he can't find work. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that works through the VA or whatever, that you show so many signs of whatever that they deem you unemployable, but they're not giving you 100%.
Yeah.
So he's caught in this loop.
Yeah.
And now I
think it's been fixed since then.
Yeah.
But at the time, the time window you're talking about, like, we didn't learn that shit.
Right.
He's probably one of the reasons we know it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, and I've said it before, I'm sure there were many steps of the way he made decisions that weren't smart.
Yeah.
And didn't go to help himself out. You know what I mean?
But who's to say, what a person in that condition.
Exactly.
Motherfucker, you've been shot 3 times.
But what I can say for 100% certainty, that every step of the way through this process, anything he said he was going to do, he did. And the dude does give a shit.
Yeah.
He just needed to learn that those around him give a shit also.
Yeah. And you can trust him.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had to build some trust there.
Oh, yeah.
So...
I gave him those little challenges when we were like meeting to talk, like, hey, I'm going to come this time tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. You be here and we'll talk about this or that. Right.
Yeah.
And he would. So I kind of do that for certain people just to test them out. Like, am I going to waste my time with this person? I have another homeless lady on my beat. I'm doing the same thing with, and she says she wants the help. I'm like, cool, but you got to do this.
Yeah.
The Mike, the homeless guy, reached out to me last week and he said, hey, got a homeless veteran, the guy who was enlisted in the 80s. I'm like, doesn't have a phone, but he's getting $3,000 a month. Like, what are you doing with your money, man?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, here's the first step.
Let's get your phone.
You go get you a throwdown. I don't care what kind of phone it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be cheapest. I don't care. Here's my number. And I give him my number. I go, you call me with the phone that you get. You take that first step. That's all you got to do, buddy. That's all I'm asking you to do. Once you do that, we're going to get you on the road. But you going to get it? Oh, you got it.
I think I got it.
I think you got it. The mosquito. Did you get it?
I got him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Fuck that mosquito.
Right, yep.
Let's, this podcast brought to you. Nope. Not that one.
Not that.
This episode. Nope. Not that one either. I don't know what these sounds do. Nope. Not that one either. Okay. Keep going. So... I don't know what the buttons do. I thought I had
You could have done the wah, wah, wah for the poor mosquito that just died. Go to hell, mosquito.
Yeah, fuck mosquitoes. Hashtag fuck mosquitoes.
You take away anything from this episode.
Makes you cough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's good stuff, though.
Yeah.
So anyways, there it is. And so I still stay in contact with him, man. I kind of consider him a buddy now, but he sends me pictures all the time of the latest thing he's done. Yeah. He's proud of it.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? He's proud of it. But the big challenge now is I kind of veered off this track. He needs a car. There is a VA office in Decatur where he's at. He can't get to it. His contact for a VA office is back here. See what I'm saying? They're the ones that are aware of where he's at in his path to 100%. Yeah. But once he's there, once that's all done, he needs his medication for PTSD to sleep.
I bet.
They don't mail that shit. You have to go pick it up.
Oh.
He can't ask for a ride every fucking time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He needs to be able to have a ride.
And that stuff builds up. You have to stay regular on that stuff.
Got to.
Yeah.
And for him, luckily, it doesn't like surface itself in like bipolar type way.
Or violent tendencies.
The dude like just, I think, falls depressed and doesn't sleep. And but every time I've talked to him, man, he's squared away.
Yeah.
100%.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he needs to be able to get around. So we're working on, he filled out his application online for Alabama, which is where he's originally from, to get a copy of his birth certificate because his family's got all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's some big struggles here, but we're getting past them. So I'm helping him with that, give him a return address to send that, because you can't do his RV, you can't put his RV park down as a mailing address. Everybody that lives there has a P.O. box. Okay. And in order, every step of the way he's got something, right? So in order to get his birth certificate, they don't accept P.O. boxes, right? Fuck. You got to have a physical address. So whatever.
Shit, he can use mine.
I gave him an address.
Oh, did you? Yeah, okay, I was like, fuck it. Tell him he can use mine.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So, so we're getting past that hurdle to get his copy of his legit license. Okay. Right. And then hopefully we can get him a car, but that truck is still sitting in that storage unit. It's a 2018 Tacoma with everything good except the block. Transmission's good, cab's good, bed's good, everything. As a parts truck, that thing's probably worth at least $15,000. Yeah. Those things are freaking expensive. Yeah. And it's a decent model too. It's not like a base model or anything. Right. And in that garage, that dude, this is where I say he probably didn't make a ton of smart choices along the way. I think he was overly confident in the beginning that he could fix it. And he's got all these tools in there that he bought from the local parts stores, like O'Reilly's and AutoZone. He's even got a freaking engine hoist in there. I'm like, come on, man. Yeah. Like, what were you going to do? Yeah. Like, he's like, I don't know. I was trying. I was like, kudos to you for trying. Yeah. But just the tools in that shed alone, he could sell and buy a car. Yeah. Like like a little Honda Civic or something to get him around town.
But then he wouldn't be able to fix up the Winnebago.
What do you mean?
Like, that's probably his tools for helping fix up the Winnebago.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thing he had them.
We gotta he doesn't have them. They're in the storage unit. Oh. So he's been borrowing tools.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He's either that or he's figuring it out on his own. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. So maybe this. Maybe set up a GoFundMe if we don't have one.
I considered that. I considered that with him. Yeah. And there are some like foundations out there that like do these car giveaways. Like one of them through Progressive Insurance and stuff like that. And my only like qualms with that was if we set up a GoFundMe and these other organizations see that, they're going to write you off. Okay. They're going to be like, he's good. He's got a GoFundMe. So if we fail on the GoFundMe, we failed on that.
How would they know? What I'm
saying?
How would they know?
Just search his name, because I mean, we'd have to put his name on there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I mean, we wouldn't have to raise much to get him a point A to point B car. You know what I mean?
I'm brainstorming. I'm trying to use, my limited platform. I've got some pretty good networks now. Even though the show size doesn't show that, I've got some good names to connect to. Maybe I can reach out and, the car to me seems like that may be something. The car may be the easy part. For me, I'm looking at, what other things could money help him with? Money obviously can help him with everything. Yeah. But I want to at least give him what he needs to. Yeah. So a car. Is that his biggest need right now? The vehicle.
I would say.
Yeah.
But we need to square away his license first.
Yeah.
Right. And
What you got that going?
I'm challenging him on that. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not setting shit up for you until we square you away legally.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that.
Like, I don't want to go get you a car and drive around without a license.
Yeah.
So like he checks out. Like I've ran him numerous times, since dealing with him on calls, and everything's valid.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to get him that, what I'm saying? So he can drive around with his actual license. So it's a valid license.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The returns we get is all valid.
Right.
But it's all not in his possession. So we need to get a copy of it. In order to do that, he has to prove who he is. He doesn't even have a copy of his own birth certificate. So that's the first step.
Yeah.
We're getting that from Alabama. And, but man, through this whole process, man, it's been very eye-opening as to why so many like him end up like him. Because as soon as you lose one thing, you lose the other.
Right.
They don't mail you.
It's very similar to somebody getting out of prison.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is, man. And when such and such officer or whatever answers that call and they don't know that this person cares or gives a shit, and this is all they need is this one little fix right here.
Yep.
And all they're getting is the CTW warning, and then the next time the arrest, and then here we go.
Yeah. And and we're not talking about you're dealing with your common criminal.
No.
We're dealing with somebody that served your country.
Yeah, and the other thing I did with Tony is I did as much digging as I could through our system in reports. And there were a few from when he was trying the shelter system. Like, is he violent? Does he have any sort of assault reporting on it? Everything on him, which wasn't a whole lot, but everything on him was like pointed in the right direction.
Just vagrancy stuff.
Yeah, it was like, this dude's getting kind of a shit hand this whole time around.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll see what happens if we give him, a little nudge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that. One of the things you brought up that I kind of curious about, in your opinion, because you've got more experience on this side of the house, but are the shelters educating the people that they have? Is there a program? Are there programs, at least from what you've seen, where, like you said, Tony didn't know. There was things he didn't know, and he's going through the shelter system. I would hope that the shelter system, part of it's more than just making sure you're not a criminal and that you're going to listen to the rules. I would hope the next part of that would be some sort of education or resource building. Like, hey, okay, you're a veteran, you're at our shelter. Here's some of the resources we have for you.
Right.
Is that not a thing?
No, it is.
Okay, so it is available. Yeah. That stuff is there.
It's just there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, are they taking the time to push it?
And I think at the time that Tony was trying that path, he wasn't available yet, or he wasn't approved yet for said benefits that he is now.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost his faith in the system down there, like so many do.
Yeah.
And he ended up on my beat. So, which is pretty far removed from the
that
shelter
area. Yeah, because the shelter area is my area. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Okay, so in all of this experience that you've seen with let's just say Tony's story and whatnot, what can our patrol officers take away from that? What can our community take away from that? What do they need to know to help improve the situation from here on out?
Anytime you come across a homeless person that claims to be a veteran, check them out. It's easy to do.
Okay.
It's not that big of a hurdle. And once they check out, your motivation to helping that person is probably going to change.
Yeah.
Like it different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all right, they told me the truth on that. Let's go to the next step. And if all they're needing is a place to stay and you've learned that they're receiving benefits, they actually have money coming in.
Some income, yeah.
Then start exploring the Operation Texas Strong. Get their application in. So for this new guy that the Hope Unit told me about when we went out there and met him just last Thursday or Wednesday, whatever, his challenge is going to be getting that application in. So in the beginning, as the officer, if you're willing to do it, you're going to probably have to hold their hand a bit and help them, along those steps, because the VA office is going to be the one that has the proof of discharge, honorable discharge, right? Their discharge papers. And you're going to have to figure out a way to get a copy of that for the application. Yeah. Because they need to know that this person's legit before they go giving them an RV.
Yeah. It's called your DD 214 for anybody looking for that. So
yep.
Look for their DD 214.
Yep. And they'll know they'll know how to get it. You're a homeless person. They'll know what's up. They'll be like, yeah, the VA office has it, or shit, I have a copy of it myself.
Yeah.
So, but once you get past those small hurdles, it's nothing to it.
Yeah.
You call the RV park. I guarantee you, especially being in an RV park, you're probably dealing with a person that's willing to help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially for this.
Yeah.
You tell them the story, they'll be like, yep, bring them in. We'll go from there.
Okay.
And so where Tony's at now, the owner, she is working with him on rent. He helps around the facility there.
Oh, nice.
Yep. He helps her with odd jobs, kind of like maintenance guy.
Very cool.
I think there's another guy she's kind of worked to deal with too. But
I just saw another mosquito.
I know, I saw one too.
There's 2 in here.
Yep. But therein lies the big hurdle, right? Is getting them to that place.
Yeah.
Finding that RV park. So Tony recognized that right off the bat.
I saw him.
That's it. It's right above you now.
Damn. I see him.
Just turn the lights off.
I'm going to catch that fucker. Hashtag fuck mosquitoes. Anyway.
What'd you just say?
Hashtag fuck mosquitoes.
Oh, they said never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony's main big dream now is to have his own area that is dedicated for this.
Oh, really?
Like a stepping stone type place.
Oh, okay. So he's wanting to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
We're putting
So
those
what
feelers out.
I will try to do is use my platform. 1, I want to try to get him a car. 2, I'm going to look into seeing what a GoFundMe does because I'm not a nonprofit.
Right.
For those that are like, oh my God, like people have told me, oh, you should become a nonprofit. You can get a lot more donations, all that stuff. I don't know how to do the paperwork. I never intended this to be a business.
Yeah.
So I'm learning as I go. If I can make it a nonprofit down the road, I will. I just made it an LLC right away for liability purposes.
Oh, smart move.
I just didn't want to get sued. So, yeah. So I did that, and that was the cheap, easy way to start things out. But I will start looking to see what it takes for me to do some sort of nonprofit for him. I don't know how that will work. But definitely I will reach out to my sources and see if I can't get a vehicle donated in some way. I would assume a truck would probably be the best bet.
Yeah, like a Ranger.
Yeah,
like a small pickup.
Yeah, small pickup. That's what I was thinking too.
We're hoping to get him to the car show this year, which is November 6th this year. The Alex Viola car show, and we're hoping to get the Operation Texas Strong a table.
Okay.
So they can hopefully take in some donations there.
Okay.
So that would be pretty badass.
People that didn't see your first episode, they're not going to understand the Sergeant Alex Viola car show.
Viola.
Sorry. I always say Viola because it's spelt the same fucking way.
Yep.
Which is coincidence, but that's what my daughter plays.
Oh.
The viola.
A viola.
The viola.
That's pronounced viola.
Yes. My daughter plays the viola. But.
And you accuse me of being fancy.
I know, yeah. So Joey's brother-in-law was a Green Beret. He fell overseas and serving his country. And a car show was created in his memory by his father, I believe.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, Frank and Peggy. Yep.
Yeah. So they've had this Sergeant Alex Viola car show since what year?
2014, I think.
Okay. So around 2014. And I'm not talking like,
I think.
Like it's a.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
It's been a minute. It's huge now.
You and I met in 2012 in the academy, graduated in 13. Yeah, it had to be 14 then.
Yeah, because he was KIA in 13, November of 13.
Yep.
I can't remember if it was the next year or the year after that the car show started. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it's been a while. But and there's been these car shows, man. They're involved. All the family comes into town, and poor Frank and Peggy, man, they take on a huge challenge.
Oh, I bet.
Holy shit.
Just so you know, I'm going to try my first live event.
Okay.
So I'm covering the Brotherhood for the Fallen.
Okay.
I just recently got involved in that since I haven't been riding the bike because I've promoted and just don't have time.
Yeah.
And wasn't doing the Texas.
The Memorial Texas.
The Memorial ride. I haven't been doing that. So I was like, I need to get in something. So I stopped my donation portion of my check for that because that's what I was doing through my check. And I switched over to the Brotherhood because I thought it was something that I could take part in. So I went to my first Brotherhood for the Fallen thing, and I fell in love. Same way I fell in love with the other one. So I'm all into it now. I've been to 2. So I just been pushing my money towards that and helping out with that the best way I can. Well, now I'm going to do the live event for the gala that we do this year. So
nice.
Going to them, I'm going to go to the gala and try my hand. I've never done it before.
When is it?
It's in October. I couldn't give you the specific date. You should get tickets.
As in like next month?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So tickets are available now. Matter of fact.
Ticketmaster?
Yeah. Hey, this isn't for the general public. Not that you couldn't go. I just don't think you'll get tickets. I think it's going to be all of us. But yeah, let me look real quick. I'll look at the Brotherhood for the Fallen. It'll be the top thing here. So I am on the site, and there it is. It is October 7th at 7 p.m. at Randall Mill Road in Arlington. Formal attire. So it's the 4th annual Brotherhood for the Fallen Gala.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah, well,
nice.
Yeah, sure.
Still waiting on that email, actually, for the application.
They never sent you one? Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to call out Brock.
Call out Brock.
Yeah, Brock for sure. He's supposed to send that. The guy that cares about people, huh? Way to care. So yeah, I'll get Brock to do that for you. But yeah, October 7th, that's the gala. And I'm covering it live. I've never done a live. So I got to pack this shit up.
So I'm going to be there, and I'm just going to try and make you laugh the whole time.
That's fine.
I'll be in the audience.
That's fine. Okay. I'm only covering the beginning portion.
Can I have a soundboard?
No. That's my soundboard. I'll load it up so you can press the buttons. You just come over. That'll just be all farts, different farts. Yes. But yeah, buddy, from here, yeah. The next thing that I will try to do for what you got going on is maybe try to, I'll reach out to my contacts and see. I've got a couple people in mind off the top of my head, see what they have to say. Yeah. Can't promise anything, obviously, but I have a feeling they'll want to help. So that's what this is about, man. And this is what I like about what we're talking about is I tell people, like, people are like, well, why do you include military? I'm like, this is why I include military, because there's this draw to service, and it's all encompassing. It's not just cops. It's not just firefighters. It's ambulance. It's nurses. It's teachers. I try to tell people it's teachers too. Even though I haven't had a teacher on here yet. Yeah. Keep trying.
Probably more so than anybody.
Yeah. Yep. There's this duty to help in a way that I can't explain. Police, I think it's a little more obvious, but military, I mean, think about it. You know, this part of my story, or this part of the Two Cops, One Donut story is going to be, we had you on, you told us this event about a military veteran, and who better to help than other veterans or other active military guys. So I'm going to put that out there, and I'm going to challenge my military guys, my active duty military guys, because I'm still attached to an active military unit. I'm not a traditional reservist. I'm attached to does the job 365, 24/7.
Well, I think as more people are aware of Tony's story, they're going to be like, that's extremely common.
Yeah. How many more guys are out there?
Exactly.
That nobody's reached
we just don't know about.
Yeah.
Because they've kind of given up, checked out, or whatever. So I'm really, really hoping that through all this, it's kind of restored, Tony's faith in
humanity,
those around him.
Yeah.
And encourage other officers to just,
and
take the time to learn the story and,
mm-hmm.
I don't know, just put forth a couple more seconds of effort and see what you can do. So,
well, we're almost at 2 hours, brother. I know you got a birthday party and stuff to go to.
kids,
kids' life. But is there anything else that you want to shout out? Anything that we need to know?
Well, if anybody's interested in about the Operation Texas Strong, like I said, I'm pretty sure that we're getting them a booth table at the show.
Okay.
So that's at Keller Town Square, right? November 6th. It's on a Sunday. It's probably the coolest car show you could ever go to, because Alex's teammates, Green Beret teammates, are the judges, right?
Okay.
And they pick their best in show, and we do a live auction and all that kind of stuff. If you want to learn more about Operation Texas Strong, you come to the show, meet Bobby and Peggy. probably the most kind-hearted people you'll ever meet in your life, as you can probably imagine, for what they're doing, spending their own money on every day. That dude sends me texts every day, like pictures like, man, we just got this one. This is amazing. We just got this one.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. We just got this one.
Another person we need to get on here.
Yeah. And he's spending their own money because they'll get like $100 here and there as a donation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They've only been doing this for a little over a year, so they're still pretty new.
Okay, so it's right off the ground.
Yeah. Okay. And my fear is that they're going to dry up, get to a point where they just can't afford it
to do it anymore
and lose their momentum and motivation.
Yeah.
And this is such a valid effort. Mm-hmm. It's like if they can just get the backing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this would be huge.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking easy. There's nothing to it.
Well, let me see what I can do, brother. I think I can help.
Right.
I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched, but I think I can help. So
sweet.
It's definitely worth the time. But appreciate you being out, buddy.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Not a problem.
This is good.
I love it.
All right, brother.
Thanks.